Okay, so today for my online kids, you are going to follow along with us for today's notes, and then you won't have to fill in your notes. They are already filled in, but you're watching this video to help you for today's worksheet. So, the first slide, make sure your name is on your paper. The first slide is what is a verb. So, for those of you who, if you haven't done these type of notes, it has a line under it, and that's what you'll fill in on your paper, okay? So, what is a verb? A verb is a word or group of words that expresses an action, condition, or state of being. So that's nothing new to you, right? A verb is an action. It's what you do, okay? It also shows the time in which the action took place. The time meaning, for example, right here, played football. What is your verb? Played. Good. So played is your verb. What is the time?
Past tense.
Past tense. Thank you. Played football. You did it yesterday. You did it earlier. It's in the past. Is playing. What's your verb?
Present.
So your verb is still playing. Good. And then what tense? Present tense. Good. So is playing means you're doing it right now. And then will be playing football. Your verb is still playing. But what tense? Future. You're going to be playing, right? And then a verb can also show whether the subject is performing or receiving the action by changing the voice. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
So you're going to just fill in. You're going to fill in the ones that have the underlined words on there. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. When I go to the next slide, on the left side of your paper, there's like a left column. It says blank voice. That's where you'll fill in active or passive, and then it'll look like this. Okay? Yes.
Where do I write this stuff?
This right here?
Yep.
It's on your paper, on your notes.
They're blank.
You just follow along and fill it in. Yep, there's blanks, and the blanks are underlined.
Voice for action.
Yep, you follow it just like this. And then for my online kids, I told my in-person kids, but you are still allowed to work with a partner, but you each still have to turn in a worksheet. So you can't submit just one worksheet, okay? Okay.
I think you want that.
Any questions? Are you ready to move on?
No.
Not yet? Got a few more? Yeah, sorry. So my online kids, you can work with a partner, but you each have to submit one. So don't send one paper with both your names. You have to each send a paper, okay? And you'll actually create a Google Doc, and that's where you'll put your answers on. The last one right here, receiving.
Wait, no, this said a verb is. Wait, is that on voice? Oh, that's on voice.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is active voice. So off on that left column, I'm going to actually take Leslie's paper real quick. See right here on the left side where it says blank voice, you're going to put active. And then you'll start filling in the lines. So an active voice is where a verb is active if the subject performs the action. So your subject is what is doing something, okay? So for example, my brother took out the trash. What is the subject in that sentence?
Brother.
My brother. And what are they doing? What's the action?
Taking out trash.
Taking out the trash. Good. Now, let me see. So your subject would be my brother, and the action is took out the trash, right? So Sarah drives my sister to art school. What is the subject?
Sarah.
Sarah, very good. And what is Sarah doing? What's the action? Driving my sister to art school. Okay? Alex cooked dinner for his family last night. What's the subject?
Alex.
Alex, good. And what is Alex doing?
Cooking dinner.
He's cooking dinner for his family last night. Okay? What is the trend that you see here with the subjects and the action? In all three of these sentences, what are you noticing? Riley?
The subject is before the action.
Very good. So off on the side of your paper, or maybe even on the back where there's all of that dead space, this is a little tip that I would write. I would say when it comes to active voice, in a sentence, you have the subject, then the action follows, okay? So in every single active voice sentence, it's your subject and then it's what they're doing. So when you get your worksheet and it has a sentence like this and it says decide if it's active or passive, the first thing you should do and the first thing you should ask yourself is, what is my subject and what are they doing? And as soon as you figure that out, if you see that your subject is first and your action's after, then you'll know it's active. Okay? So in writing, active voice is preferred because it's clear and to the point. So active voice is the main type of voice you want to write in. Okay? And it also eliminates wordiness. So with active voice, it's very straight to the point. You can still have all of your details, but it just makes more sense when it's in this kind of order. Okay? Are there any questions so far? Yes. Uh-huh. Are you ready to move on?
I'm not.
Not yet? Yes.
Didn't you say to write on the back or the side of the paper?
So on the back or the side, I would write this. I would say active, it would be subject, then action. So anytime you get your sentence and you look at it, you'll see it's subject and then action, if it's active voice. That's how you'll know. Okay? You ready to move on? Who said I'm not? Oh, okay. Which one are you on?
I'm doing 6. I'm not doing 4. Like, I'm
Okay. Yeah, y'all's numbers are different for some reason. It says like 4, 5, and 6, I think.
4.
So the next one is going to be passive voice. So on the left side, where it says blank voice, that's where you're going to put passive. And I'll show you that slide.
Wait, on the top or bottom?
On the left side at the top, at the bottom. So let me, right here, is where it'll say passive.
What does the top one say?
The top one is active. So it should say active and then passive.
Is that one 2 S's?
Right here. Yes.
I'm not.
Ready? Okay, so the next one is passive voice. It's up here also if you need spelling. A verb is passive if its action is performed upon the subject, okay? So a passive verb is made from a form of be and the past participle of a verb, okay? So for example, let me erase this really quick. For example, the trash was taken out by my brother. What is the subject? Riley?
The brother.
My brother. And what is the action?
He's taking out the trash.
Very good. The trash was taken out. Okay? My sister was driven to art school by Sarah. What's the subject? Wait, somebody besides Riley. What's the subject?
I can't see.
My
sister.
Oh, Sarah. Sorry.
Sarah, very good. And what's the action?
Driven
to
My sister was driven to art school. Very good. A dinner was cooked by Alex for his family last night. What's the subject? Who's doing what? Leslie? Alex. Good. And what did Alex do? What's the action?
cook dinner for him.
Good. He cooked his dinner, right? So, to change from passive to active voice, you have to make sure that the person is completing the action before the action. So, remember how active is subject then action? Passive would be action example, do you remember when we circled on the other sentences and it was red and then green? Now it's green and then red. So it's flipped, okay? So when you get your worksheet, if you look at the sentence and say, okay, who is doing what? Who's doing the action? Then you can circle that, and then you can figure out what they're doing, circle that, and if you notice it's action and then subject, then it's passive. If you notice it's subject and then action, then it's active. Okay? Question? Okay. Any questions so far? Does anybody want to give me an example of an active? Riley?
Miss Foster was grading papers.
Miss Foster was grading papers. What's the subject?
Miss Foster.
What's the action?
Creating papers.
Very good. Anybody else? Violet?
My sister was writing a story.
Good. My sister was writing a story. Who's the subject? Sister. And what's the action?
Writing story.
Very good. All right, now passive is the action and then the subject. Does anybody want to try to give me a passive voice? Somebody other than Riley and Violet? Anybody? John Deere?
The wreath was put on my on my door by my mom.
Very good. The wreath was put on my tree? Door. By my mom. What's the subject?
Mom.
The mom, and what did the mom do?
She put the wreath on the door.
Very good. She put the wreath on the door. Very good, John Deere. Anybody else? Aries?
The game was won by my brother.
The game was won by my brother. What's the subject?
My brother.
My brother, and what did he do?
Won a game.
He won the game. Very good. So, if you write this little part down on your paper, it's going to help you tremendously because when you do the worksheet, if you can identify the subject from the action, you'll be able to figure out if it's active or passive really fast. Okay? So, my online students and my in-person students, your worksheet that you're about to do, you can work in pairs, which is 2. You and one other person, okay? With that being said, when you turn in your paper, if it's below a 70, that is your grade. You're not correcting it, you can't redo it, that's your grade. The reason being is because you have another person working with you, and you're picking that person. So I maybe wouldn't just pick my best friend, I would maybe pick someone that I can work with that I feel like would make a great team, okay? If you don't want to do that, you're more than welcome to work by yourself, but those are your options. It's either you and one other person or you by yourself, okay? Are there any questions? Yes?
Is the paper like on paper or on a computer?
It's on paper. For my in-person, it's on paper. For my online, you'll get a Google Doc. Riley?
Are we going to have another day for this?
Are you gonna have a what?
Another day for this?
Yes. No, wait, no, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we gonna do the guess and song?
Whenever you do your journal, yes. Okay, so for my online kids, you have this assignment to do, and then you have your daily journal, and I think that is all I have for you. Please make sure to attach your answers for the worksheet that you're going to have today. And if you have any questions, you can email me as well. Did I miss anything for them? Do you want to tell them bye?
Say bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
They're